And welcome back to Daily Wrap. Well, before we get going here, I want to tell you about a great promotion, tremendous promotion, outstanding promotion that we have going on here at Newsmax. And we want to send one lucky couple on a 7-day Silver Sea cruise to the Caribbean this winter. Obviously, Rick, a luxury cruise on the Silver Wind is a trip of a lifetime that looks like the yacht that you own, actually, so you're used to going on one of those. To win, you need to enter our sweepstakes. Visit newsmax.com/sweepstakes. That's newsmax.com/sweepstakes to enter. Okay. Are Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump the same person? Hear me out. David Cantonese, he's over at U.S. World and News Report, still around, that's right, wrote about this idea today in his op-ed, Straight Talk on Steroids, pointing out that while the two share slightly different ideals, they go about delivering their messages in the same way, and they both seem to be tapping into voter anger, with Sanders focusing on unemployment and Trump focusing on immigration. They're both considered long shots, even laughed at by the pundits, but are now soaring in the polls while drawing huge crowds at every event they have. Their loud, brash, unfiltered, candid style of speaking that seems to make their colleagues cringe is what the public seems to love about them most. Bill Tucker, you mentioned this same idea earlier last week. You've been vindicated by U.S. News and World Report. Congratulations.
I feel so justified. No, that's exactly what it is. People want to hear their politicians be raw. They want them to tap into some anger. They're tired of this measured, careful response. Give me what you think, even if it's weird, even if it's crazy, especially if it gets you beat up by mainstream media. Put it out there, and it's going to tap into a root. My question, and I mentioned this to you, is it's really early days. How long can you ride a wave of anger? Can you make that anger last?
483 days. Jonathan, these guys should be right up your alley because you don't like politicians, you don't like generic people, you want leaders. They seem to lead in terms of acting on the courage of their convictions, right? So
it's
who are you voting for, Bernie or Trump?
It's also, well, I would never vote for Bernie, but it's very interesting because the people who say that there's no way they can win are the Republicans and the Democrats. I'm talking about the politicians. They keep saying this. Well, there's no way they can't do this, they can't do that. But the fact is, you know, you remember how we were joking before when I was on the show about how people write me on Twitter or Facebook saying you should run for president. That's because I come on, or when I'm on the radio on Sirius, I just say the truth about these things. I talk about what the people are angry about. That's what they do. It's no like somebody all of a sudden they realize this secret formula. They just simply say what most people want to hear. That's
it's
it.
what
Before
one
you jump
of
in,
them does.
Have we ever had a bald, bearded president before?
I don't think so.
Jonathan could set
Oh wait,
the-
I'm sure we have.
Oh,
Taft?
Back in the days.
Taft
Yeah.
was
Bring
bearded.
that back.
Well, half of them had wigs, right? So maybe they were already bald. But the
Listen, here's the difference between the two of them.
Yes.
You may completely disagree with Bernie Sanders, but you go fact check his facts when he says something, when he makes a speech, and they check out. You may agree or disagree with Donald Trump, and you may be able to say that his central point is truthful or not, but you go check all the other things that he says surrounding that point, and they don't check out. So Donald Trump is very good at pretending to be telling the truth. Bernie Sanders does tell the truth. That's why he's the most honest guy in Washington.
But it's the anger. That's
Oh,
the
no,
key.
I agree. The anger's
It's stepping
the key.
up to the plate, and they'll just say it, and they get that anger.
Isn't that a shame? You're right, but isn't that a shame that what so much of the country's
It's a
reaction to
shame,
is
except
anger?
it's refreshing.
Anger is refreshing?
No, it's refreshing
We
right
got
now.
anger every day in politics.
We got politicians who stand up there and whom till you can't stand
Well, they
to
do.
listen
I
to
agree
them.
with that, but the answer is not people who just take advantage of angry Americans.
But here's the difference. What you talk about, we have anger every day in politics. That's fake anger. That's politicians ginning up
you
something
think
to
Donald
be angry.
Trump's anger is real? Are you serious?
No, not Donald Trump, but I think what the American people are angry about is real. And,
Yes.
and that's where they're keying in on what they're angry about. They're not just creating problems to make people
No,
angry.
I hear that, and I do agree that a segment of the American public is angry.
Right.
But as I said, one of these candidates is addressing that anger legitimately. One of them is taking advantage of that anger, in my opinion, illegitimately.
and one's a socialist.
And you talked about Bill
the
early
one
days.
who's taking advantage of it legitimately is the socialist. That's true.
Bill, you
It's
talked
true.
about early days and went back and looked. And at this stage of other campaigns, Ross Perot once led. All right, and he is an independent candidate. Didn't come from any party.
It's a different world now.
It's a different world.
Can't get in.
Well, then Howard Dean, though, 2004.
He wasn't an independent.
No, he wasn't. No, he's a Democrat. I get it. But I'm saying that he was also leading at this stage as well.
Yeah.
And he was a very different kind of
Right.
politician. So what ultimately brings these guys down? In other words, what brought Perot down? What brought Dean down? What would bring Trump down or Sanders?
It's
Yes.
the power of
Themselves.
the party.
It's-
Well, no, I
it's
think it's also
them.
the power of the party
It's
leadership.
them.
I don't think the leadership, like Jonathan alluded to, has any interest in anybody like a Bernie Sanders or a Donald
Look,
Trump. getting out front
neither of
saying
these candidates have been subjected to heavy vetting because nobody in the media believes they can win. Were one of these two candidates, be it Trump or be it Bernie, to actually begin to look like a winner, that's what brings them down, because then you start to find out the real deal.
Okay, that'll be the last word on that. Is Donald Trump your candidate? Go to newsmaxpolls.com and cast your vote. Up next, it's potluck time. Do not go anywhere.